Good morning, students, and welcome to the online classes of Sacred Heart High School. Today, we will be learning Geography subject, Standard 7, Lesson number 5, Winds, Part 4. In the previous class, we have studied about how winds are generated, how they deflect, and the different types of winds. So, let us learn more about winds in this lecture. Kindly open Geography textbook, page number 27, or you can even look at the screen. So, let us begin with our class. Monsoon winds are in fact sea and land breezes blowing on large scale. So, what are monsoon winds? Sea and land breeze that blow on a large scale means covering a large area are called as monsoon winds. Most of the precipitation in the Indian subcontinent is the effect of monsoon winds. After crossing the equator, they blow from the southwest towards the Indian subcontinent during the period from June to September. They are called the southwest monsoons. They are full of moisture, meaning as these monsoon winds blow in the Indian subcontinent, it leads to precipitation, which means rainfall, snow, etc. And most of it that occurs is the effect of the monsoon winds. When these winds cross the equator, they blow from the southwest towards the Indian subcontinent during the period from June to September. And as they blow from the southwest directions, they are called the southwest monsoons. And they are full of moisture, means the air has small quantity of liquid or water or wetness. Now let's read further. From September to December, because of the low pressure area developing near the equator, winds blow from the Indian subcontinent towards the equator. These are called the northeast monsoon winds. They are dry winds. So this means that the winds blow from the Indian subcontinent towards the equator from September to December. It is because of the low pressure area that starts developing near the equator. And these winds are called the northeast monsoon winds. And the nature of these winds is dry. So children, now let's learn about what are cyclones and how they are created. Cyclonic conditions are created when a low pressure area is surrounded by high pressure areas. In these conditions, winds start blowing towards the low pressure area from the surrounding high pressure areas. See figure 5.7. Due to the rotation of the earth, the cyclonic winds in the northern hemisphere move in an anti-clockwise direction, whereas they move in a clockwise direction in the southern hemisphere. During a cyclone, the sky is cloudy, winds blow with a very high velocity, and it rains heavily. The area affected by cyclones is limited. The duration, velocities, direction, and place of origin of these winds is unpredictable. See the image of a cyclone obtained by a satellite in figure 5.8. Now children, this means that when a low pressure area is surrounded by a high pressure belt, that time cyclonic conditions are created. During this condition or time, Winds blow from surrounding high pressure area towards the low pressure areas. As you can see in figure 5.7, you will be able to understand that as explained before, a low pressure area is surrounded by high pressure area and the winds are blowing from the high pressure area towards the low pressure area. Now, when the earth rotates, these cyclonic winds in the northern hemisphere move in an anti-clockwise direction, whereas in the southern hemisphere they move in a clockwise direction. Now children, whenever there is a cyclone, the sky is cloudy and the winds blow with a very high speed or velocity and it rains very heavily too. But the area affected by cyclones is limited, which means that at the same time cyclone does not affect the whole world but only some limited areas. Along with this, the duration, that is time, velocities, that is speed, direction and place of origin or the place from where it begins is unpredictable, means it can't be predicted or known before. Cyclone can come anytime at any speed and can move also to any place which we can't tell or can't predict. An image of cyclone is shown in the figure 5.8 which was taken or obtained by a satellite. Children, on weather maps, the center of a cyclone is represented or shown by the letter L. A cyclone system moves from one place to another. Now let's read further. Cyclonic storms. Cyclones occurring in the western part of the Pacific Ocean along the coasts of Japan, China, Philippines, etc. are known as typhoons. These storms arise in the months between June and October. Due to high velocity winds and heavy rains, these prove to be destructive. Now children, in the Pacific Ocean. Now Pacific Ocean is the largest and deepest ocean of the Earth's oceanic division, and in the western part of this ocean, that is along the coast of Japan, China, Philippines, etc., cyclones occur and they are known as typhoons. Now these storms arise or appear in the months between June and October. These typhoons have a very high velocity, means speed, and heavy rains, and hence when they arise it causes a lot of destruction. Let's move ahead. The cyclones in the Caribbean Sea are known as hurricanes. These are also destructive in nature. During these storms, the minimum velocity of the wind is 60 kilometers per hour. Cyclones also originate in the temperate zone, but they are not so powerful and hence are not destructive. Now, the cyclones in the Caribbean Sea are known as hurricanes. These winds are also very destructive in nature, and when these storms take place, the minimum velocity, that is the minimum speed of the wind, is 60 kilometers per hour. That means they travel 1 kilometer per minute. Now, cyclones also originate or appear in the temperate zone, but they are not so powerful and hence are not destructive. Now let's learn about anticyclones. Under specific atmospheric conditions, the air pressure in the particular region increases and the pressure in the surrounding areas remain low. In this situation, winds blow from the center towards the surrounding area in a circular manner. In the northern hemisphere, these winds blow in a clockwise direction, whereas in the southern hemisphere, they blow in an anti-clockwise direction. During anticyclones, the skies are clear, winds blow with lesser velocities, and the weather is pleasant. Anticyclones generally last for a few days or a week. Such anticyclones originate in temperate zones. So children, anticyclones are completely opposite of cyclones. Now these cyclones take place under specific atmospheric conditions. Now during cyclonic conditions, low pressure area is surrounded by high pressure area and the winds blow from high pressure area towards the low pressure area. But in anticyclonic conditions, it is vice versa, meaning low pressure area is surrounded by high pressure area and the winds blow from the center, that is high pressure areas, towards the low pressure areas in a circular manner. In the northern hemisphere, these winds blow in a clockwise direction, whereas in the southern hemisphere, they blow in an anti-clockwise direction. Children, during anticyclones, the skies are clear. Winds blow with lesser speed and the weather is pleasant. These anticyclones generally last for a few days or a week, and such anticyclones originate or appear in temperate zone. On weather maps, the center of an anticyclone is represented by the letter H. Anticyclones are vividly experienced in high pressure belts. Winds in this region are always moving out and hence the rainfall in such areas is quite low. So, on the weather maps, the center of an anticyclone is represented or shown by the letter H, and anticyclones are vividly or mostly experienced in high pressure belts. Now these anticyclones are not very destructive because the winds in these areas generally move out and hence the rainfall in such areas is also quite low or very low. Do you know? Naming the cyclones. Cyclones occurring in different parts of the world are assigned or given different names. Children, just as we learned about winds, that various names are given for local winds occurring in that particular region. Similarly, here also names are given in the list and these names are suggested by the countries in the region of that ocean. If the wind speed in the storm exceeds or goes behind 33 knots, that is 60 km per hour, then a name is assigned or given to that particular cyclone. Names are given to it because it makes us easier to remember a particular storm. Now for example, recently we experienced Nisarga cyclone. Now children, we were able to track it wherever it was moving. How were we able to do that? With the help of satellites. Also, it was told to be very destructive because of its high speed or velocity. And the name Nisarga was given to it so that we can be able to call it by its name, and it was easier for us to remember it too. So, children, with this, we end our lesson number 5, that is winds. I hope you have understood everything that was taught to you. We shall meet in our next class. Till then, thank you. Stay home and stay safe.